Hi, I'm Trevor Hands, co-founder of Red Dog Children's Museum. I'm going to be a little vulnerable and share part of my childhood story with you. When I was young, I was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency disorder. In simple terms, the pituitary gland, or the gland that was responsible for telling my body to grow, wasn't doing its job very well. While my younger siblings and classmates continued to grow, I seemed to just stand still, only growing a fraction of an inch a year. Now, it may sound like a small thing now, but constant teasing and bullying have a way of shaping how a child sees him or herself. Now, I don't remember everything that was said to me, but what I do remember is how I felt. I actually think there's a Maya Angelou quote there that says something to that effect. And after a while, I began to believe the lies I was hearing, that I wasn't enough, no matter what I did or who I tried to become. I never felt like I could measure up, and I was more of a burden to society and the world. I want you to take a look at this video of me as a child. You see, out of all the bullies that I had growing up, the biggest one that I faced was myself. It was around this age I tried to take my own life for the first time. That's a topic for a different conversation, but sometimes the smallest seeds become the strongest trees. Thanks to my parents and an incredible medical team, my body was able to catch up through advancements in medicine. Physically, I eventually looked like a lot of my peers. Emotionally, that healing took much, much longer. What quietly carried me forward, however, was a seed that my grandmother had planted. She gave me a guidepost article that featured Mr. Rogers. And like so many other children, I grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But this article kind of explains the philosophy behind the show. One sentence had been underlined by my grandma, and it said this: "I like you just the way you are." Those weren't originally Fred's words, however. They were actually something that his grandfather had told him as a boy, and Fred carried those words throughout his life. Much like my grandmother passed them on to me, and they've been a part of my life as well. Today, I believe that's the heart of what we're trying to accomplish at Red Dog Children's Museum. It actually started as an idea that my wife and I had conversing on this very couch a little over 4 years ago. Now, those who know me know I have some opinions, and I have my own beliefs and perspectives. We all do. That's what makes us human. And I don't expect everybody to agree with me on everything. But what I do hope that we can come to an agreement on is this: every child that walks through the doors of Red Dog Children's Museum deserves to know that they are welcomed, that they are valued, and that they are loved, not because of what they've accomplished or where they've come from, or what labels the world has placed on them, but simply because they are a child. And perhaps the adults who bring them need to hear that reminder as well. My hope is that every parent, grandparent, caregiver, volunteer, and visitor leaves knowing that they were seen, valued, and welcomed just as they are. Whether they're visiting one of our roaming museum exhibits today, or someday walking through the doors of our permanent home. My hope is that every child leaves feeling seen, heard, and like they truly belong. Because just like Mr. Rogers said, we like you just the way you are.
The phones aren't ringing. I mean, you can hear it in the background. Yeah, you don't hear anything, do you? The phones aren't ringing. You got to make those phones ring. 686-3443. The only way we're going to be able to have more miracles and more miracle kids like our newest friend here, all the way from Garden City this evening, is my friend Trevor. Hi, Trevor.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine.
And we've got the whole family here. We've got Tyler, we've got Tiffany, and we got Mom and Dad, Peg and Greg. Hey, that sounds pretty. We got Peg and Greg, we got Meryl and Cheryl. We're going to keep that rhyming thing going, I think, here over the next couple of days. But Trevor is... You've been working with Dr. Lutz, haven't you?
Yeah.
And he comes out and visits every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
But not always. What do you do when he's not there?
Just go to Wichita.
You come to Wichita? We've got some other things that are going to be going on with this, but Trevor has a growth hormone disorder, and you're growing pretty good now. How much have you grown in the last year?
5 inches.
5 inches. Well, that's kind of, we're giving you the punchline a little bit early here because we want to tell you Trevor's story in detail now because it's really something. That 5 inches may not seem a lot, but when you hear the story of what Trevor was doing before that, I think you'll understand better.
In Garden City, Kansas, a boy named Trevor, with the help of his family, friends, and the medical staff from the University of Kansas School of Medicine, Wichita, has towered over the obstacles he's encountered early in life and continues to aim high with his goals for the future.
Even though he was sick as an infant, he continued to grow on his growth scale at a nice rate and was making a nice curve until about the time that he was 5, I think, that he started falling back on that curve. We continued to watch, and Trevor would only grow between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, and sometimes only up to as much as 1 inch a year. And I kept seeing, when he got into school, his classmates soar above him, and that concerned me. Plus, we also have another son who is 3 years younger, and the space in between those two children became closer and closer.
At the age of 8, Trevor had the bone development of a 4-year-old boy. It wasn't until he was 9 that Trevor was able to ride a bicycle on his own, and swimming had always been hard because of his lack of muscle tissue. In the 5th grade, Trevor was not able to touch the floor when he sat in his desk at school.
Things were being said to him that was upsetting, not only to him, but to us, and trying to make him understand. And I go back to that nursery rhyme where sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. They do hurt, and they hurt a lot. He did come home, and I think one of the real stinging times was he said, "Mom, I have a 5th grade brain and a 2nd grade body," where he happened to be smaller than his brother, who was in 2nd grade at that time. And that kind of hurt.
Well, when I didn't take the shots at first, everybody was calling me shorty and shrimp and all kinds of nasty things. And now, since I'm growing, some of my friends now have just saying like, "Hey, you're growing really good."
He was being treated like he was a small child rather than a more mature or older child, which that gets difficult after a while. And the other kids were making fun of him because of his young appearance and his real short stature compared to other people his age. And you know, over the years, that pressure from society treating you different, from your own peers treating you different, really builds up, and it causes a lot of distress for people. It's hard to describe how happy he is compared, and how positive he feels about it all compared to where we were a year or two ago with this. So now that's something really that's nice to see. It's nice to see parents and the patient feeling so positive about their medical treatment. That's what makes medicine fun, and it's what makes you feel good about working with children.
Every time I came in, he recorded me on the scale. He would say, "I'm impressed with you, Trevor," and that stuff. And also, when I went to get a big test, my grandma gave me a card in this guidepost. Guy name was Mr. Rogers, and she underlined the section where it says, "I like you just the way you are."
That card really says it all. We like you just the way you are, Trevor, and we like you just the way you are. We like you a little bit better, maybe, though, if you make the telephones ring. We got our first pledge of the night confirmed here. We want to thank Teresa and John Hurd of Wichita, but we've got to keep those telephones ringing. And Trevor, you've been through quite a lot in the last year, but things are going well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what have those folks out there got to do to keep things going that well?
You got to pledge for the Children's Miracle Network telethon at this number, 686-3443.
That's right. You heard it. He's telling you what to do. That's all it takes is just a telephone call. 686-3443. Let's keep those miracles happening, and thank you all so very much.